Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonic's money transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
We are grateful. I want to thank you for being here today.
Recording in progress.
Okay, thank you. We want to thank everyone for gracing this occasion. Thanks to the press, thanks to the victims in particular who were here real earlier. And we thank the organizations who also are here today and the members of the Jammeh to Justice campaign. The Jammeh to Justice campaign had held a two-day closed-door meeting that was on Monday and Tuesday to discuss a series of issues with regards to our campaign, that is to bring Yaya Jammeh and his accomplices to justice, and some things about the organization. And today, we call all of you here to read a press statement which was produced from the meeting that we had. So, my panelists here today, Auntie Fatou, Fatou Mane, Fatou Jata, I was thinking Auntie Fatou Jata, who's a victim, and we have Reed Brody here, works with Jammeh to Justice campaign from International Community of Jurists. I am Fatoumata Sandeng. I'm the spokesperson of the Jammeh to Justice campaign, and we have Martin Tre. Congratulations to me for really pronouncing that good. The sole survivor of the massacre in 2005 from Ghana. So we have other victims online, other members of the Jammeh to Justice campaign, and also human rights organizations that are joining us online couldn't be here with us today in person, but of course in spirit. So first of all, I'll go on and read the press statement from which we would...
The video first?
Oh yes, that's right. So we go with a video that was documented by Human Rights Watch with victims of the Jammeh regime. We watch that for 5 minutes and we will be back. Thank you.
Volume.
Can you please increase the volume? Thank you. And start it over, if that's okay.
Yaya Jammeh was the president of Gambia. In January 2017, Jammeh fled to Equatorial Guinea. And now, details of the Jammeh government's crimes are coming out.
Good morning, everyone. I call to order the first public meeting of the TRRC.
This is an investigation into the mass atrocities that occurred in this country between 1994 and 2017.
Now, at the Truth Commission, the TRRC, have implicated Jammeh personally in many of the worst crimes.
Yaya Jammeh told you what?
He told me clearly, you have to execute the ringleaders.
And that is what you did.
Exactly.
Everybody is glued to their TVs, their phones, and Facebook just to hear
from people who had killed people, from people who had tortured people.
Let's kill these people and cut their breath into pieces.
Cut them up into pieces. Like they would do me.
The Gambia was a place where a dictator was operating on the top. We have also seen a lot of non-Gambians being killed in Gambia, being imprisoned for nothing.
These people are marginalized. The order from the head of state, the former president, Yaya Jammeh, they are all prosecuted.
One man survived to tell the story of the massacre of 50 million West African migrants.
That my guys, I have my hand out from the road. This is God who wants to save you, save the world. What Yaya Jammeh have done to us and how they have killed us.
I hope justice will be served and the perpetrators will be brought before law.
Jammeh organized a phony AIDS program which forced HIV-positive Gambians to give up their medicines and put themselves in his personal care.
The rules were that anyone that came for treatment, if at all you were using ARV, you would have to stop it.
Some died, no matter how much we tried. Why these people died? It's because of the length they stayed at the presidential treatment program.
Yeah, Jammeh was very powerful and chronic. He targeted young women from vulnerable families and using state institutions and resources to ensure that women did not say no.
There was a whole system for him to exploit, for him to rape. He said, let's see if you are a virgin. And swear to God, I was scared. My justice most importantly includes a whole system change so that we can prosecute these men, have a day in court. I want the next person after me to be a little less scared.
Now the Truth Commission will recommend that those behind the worst crimes be prosecuted, and it will be up to the government to seek Jammeh's extradition.
It is the last hope for many victims. Their fear every day is that it is all going to come to naught. I urge this government to implement every single recommendation that will come out of this commission.
I just have one wish. I wish I will have the opportunity to face Yaya himself and then ask him why he had to kill my dad.
The least that a victim needs is the truth. So the testimonies and the stories of these people makes people know who Jammeh really was. Justice for all of those people means Jammeh would pay for everything that he had done.
And every time we want to put it out there so that even though people would not forget, but we remind everyone always what it looked like for your loved ones to be taken away from you and what it should look like for Jammeh to be brought to justice. So I am going to go ahead and read the press statement, after which we would have statements from the other members of the panel. The statement reads, Gambia should take concrete steps for Yaya Jammeh and his accomplices to face justice. Banjul, the Gambia, June 8, 2022. The Jammeh to Justice campaign, made up of victims of the former regime and Gambian and international activists, calls on the government of the Gambia to take concrete steps to bring former President Yaya Jammeh and his alleged accomplices to justice. The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, TRRC, has tied Jammeh to the enforced disappearance, killing and torture of opposition members and journalists, the shooting of peaceful demonstrators, the murder of about 59 West African migrants, and witch hunt campaigns in which hundreds of people were arbitrarily detained and many died as a result. It found that Jammeh raped and sexually assaulted women brought to him, and after announcing that he had invented a cure for AIDS, forced HIV-positive Gambians to give up their medicine and enroll in a sham treatment program under his personal care. We welcome and salute the government's acceptance of the TRLC recommendations, and in particular its commitment to prosecute Jammeh and his accomplices. We had hoped that the government would provide greater clarity and details on the judicial framework it intends to create for those prosecutions. Since 2019, the Gambia Bar Association has led a series of multi-stakeholder consultations which proposed a hybrid court, anchored on a treaty with ECOWAS, with Gambian and international staff, with a much greater role for victims than under the current Gambian system, and with the possibility of detaining suspects and holding trials outside of the Gambia. Whatever path the government chooses, however, laws still have to be enacted, the judicial framework has to be established, cases have to be prepared, and Yaya Jammeh has to be extradited. We are concerned that only days after the Minister of Justice stated flatly that President Jammeh would face justice for the atrocities that he committed in the country, President Barrow conducted a state visit to Equatorial Guinea and did not even raise the subject of Jammeh's extradition. We are aware that President Obiang of Equatorial Guinea has said that he will protect Jammeh. However, Equatorial Guinea has ratified to the UN Convention Against Torture, which legally requires it to extradite Jammeh for alleged torture if it does not prosecute him. The Gambian government could also make it very difficult for Equatorial Guinea to resist a demand for Jammeh's extradition by lining up the support of ECOWAS and the entire region, in particular countries such as Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Togo, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Cote d'Ivoire, whose citizens were allegedly murdered under Jammeh's orders. A request coming from ECOWAS-backed court would be very difficult to refuse, but the initiative to create such a court and the impetus for such regional backing has to come from the Gambian government. Jammeh to Justice members are active in the cases against Jammeh's alleged accomplices in Germany, Switzerland, and the United States, and a civil suit against Jammeh related to AIDS cure in the Gambia. But the most important criminal trials have to be initiated by the Gambian government. We will not rest, and I repeat, we would not rest until Jammeh and his accomplices have been investigated with a view to prosecution, evidence permitted. And then we have groups that have been working to support this campaign, which is the Jammeh to Justice campaign, which I need not to read as everyone has the list before you. Thank you.
My name is Watu Jata, a survivor of the presidential HIV/AIDS treatment program. I was among the first batch of patients who were forcefully taken to the HIV/AIDS treatment program. It was hard for us. It was also hard for our families during that time because the way we were taken to the treatment, most of us, especially the first batch, we were not consented to go to the treatment. We were forced because we all know Jammeh, how he can use force to victimize people, how powerful he think he was, and like in the Gambia, everybody was like, it is happening, but we cannot voice it out. During the treatment, we have faced many challenges there. We were detained, because I call it a kind of detention. to the treatment, and the very first day we went to the treatment, what he said was that he can cure AIDS within 3 days. But our case was different as the first batch, because we were there till 9 good months. We were not allowed to see our families. There was no visitors, no communication, and so many other things. The worst part of it is that during the treatment time, as a woman, I feel like I was in hellfire. Why? Because during the treatment you have to undress, and nothing will be left on you. They will be start massaging you, especially Yaya Jammeh himself. You've seen it here. But those are men. For us, the women, you have to undress, and all of us have to undress completely. He will start massaging you, and none of your no part of your body will be left. Both your private part and everywhere will be touched by him and his team of doctors and nurses, which make some of us like, it's better than to die here than to go back and face the public. But as I used to tell people, when it is time to die, you will die. But when God said that it's not yet your time, you will not die. We've been seeing people getting sick there without taking them to hospital, until when it is late, then they will try and say that let's take him or her to hospital. And that hospital also, there was a big stigma for us people living with HIV, because there was a site ward that they created for people from the HIV treatment program at the cell ward. And anytime when the nurses or the doctors who were taking care of you, when they close from work and you have an issue, you go to the main ward and call them. What they always tell you is, Harlan and doctor, accent nurses. Go and wait for your doctors and your nurses. Before in the morning, the person is gone. That was the saddest part of it. We were subjected to so many things there. We were forced to go and cook at the State House, because what they were saying was that we are the one who is going to eat that food. Imagine, you drink the concoction, you are weak, especially me, you are weak, you cannot do anything. Some people are vomiting, some people are having diarrhea, some people are naturally weak because they cannot eat anything, they lose appetite completely. We were subjected to go and cook, pound, wash dishes, skin fish, and do so many other things there. Sometimes we are transported to Kanilai if he is going for his festival or whatever. We were forced to farm, to go to the farm, to go to the castle field. So many things has happened to us. We cannot say anything because during that time we were powerless. As the saying goes, as a victim, you are weak, powerless, and no more responsible and passive. That was what happened to us during that time. Our families were just like, especially me, my children were just saying whether we will see our mom again. As a single parent, it was very hard. So I can keep on talking about what happened to us during the treatment until the end of the day. I will not finish it because we were subjected to so many hard things during Yaya Jammeh's treatment program. It doesn't end there. We will see some of our colleagues whom you know that even the witch hunt was also performed on us, because he once told us that he sensed that among us there are witches. So we were the first people who drank that concoction that he said that he is hunting witches. By this man called Tambajiro. It was very hard. Anything, everything, any hard things that you can think of has happened to us But alhamdulillah, thank God, I am here today to narrate what has happened to us. And I think among the first batch, I was the very weak one there because I have so many things around my shoulder because I was having a child who was only 2.5 years old when I was going to the treatment, and I was with him there. And they always used to force this boy to drink the concoction. He always cried when he sees soldiers to come for him, which was very, very sad. And as a mother, I feel like this was not fair. This was not fair because an innocent child has been forced to drink the concoction. And it puts fears in him. Anytime he saw a soldier with a uniform, you see the panic in him. Colleagues were there. Some were sent home. Before sending home, they were accused of being witches. And they sent them home because he said that they drink the concoction and they start confessing. No matter how strong your head was, that medication, if you drink it, within 3 minutes you have to confess. It's not just like you are a witch, but because of the doses of that medication that makes you to talk, because you automatically get become unconscious. So for survivors, I have a word to say. Not only the HIV/AIDS victim, but all of us. Let's detest to the name victims. We are survivors. We are victors. Because today, we are here to narrate our stories. Today, we are here to fight for justice. Today, we are here to fight for the right of those who are gone and they are not here, but their families are here. Let's come together as survivors. Let us not see each other as different survivors. We are all survivors. We know what we have gone through. Let's speak in one voice. Let nobody separate us. We know what we have been gone through. That is my message to all of us, the survivors. And also the message to partners whom we are working with. Let them see us as part of them. Let them not see us just as victims. Because sometimes you had this, new victim, let them call them anyhow. That is not. It's because of us we are sitting here today. It's because of us there are many organizations that are with us fighting for our right. So please, I urge to all Gambians, let them see us as their families. We are part of the society. Nothing makes us different. We are all the same. We all know that what has happened here today happened to each and every Gambian, whether directly or indirectly. So let's come together as one family. We speak in one voice so that we can achieve what we are fighting for. Thank you very much.
Opportunity that you have offered me and also our partners. We are warmly welcome you, our friends media, this afternoon to this section of Jammeh to Justice campaign. The truth of the matter is that if you are working for me, you should listen to me. Because sometimes you may think that you are in the right path. What about the interest of someone you claim that you are working for? So it has been over 15 years now. The voice that you are hearing today, Martin Chere, has been the voice of the Gambians. It has been a voice of the people, not by anything, but rather making sure that the ones we love ourselves, our brothers and friends, that they deserve to have access to justice. I can't start anything by giving a great recognize to the hard work that the TRC have put in place many months ago. We appreciate their hard work and also the opportunity that they offered us through the hands of His Excellency Adama Barrow, who stretched not only to the Gambians but also to the Southern Sahara people, starting from Nigeria to Ghana, to Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, and also to the Gambians and Senegalese. We greatly recognize the hard work that he have done. I want to tell you the truth. When we hear anything about white people in Ghana, it's not anything new. We had a lot of white peoples, and now some of them have turned to black peoples. So, issue about white people in Ghana is not anything new for Ghanaians, but its implementation may make it understand whether it is a white people or not. Now, we know that it's not all the recommendations that were given is satisfied to the victims, but the step of the white paper gives us an assurance that the president is on course to making sure that people may have access to justice. And the Voice of Ghana says that we are supportly and we are at the back of TRC and the white paper recommendation that a court must be set. Hybrid court must be set for people to appear to testify. But how soon and when that court is going to be set? In fact, the eye of the Ghanaians are widely open to see the political will of our people who are called themselves leaders. But rather, when you talk about leaders in this Southern Sahara, we are all the same. And I think we don't need leaders, but we want servants. Those who can serve us, not those who can lead us by power and by their selfish interests. So, we want to see a servant interest. We want to see the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, serving people. Their rights, their access to justice, and the victims must be duly compensated. So, we are not here to fight with the government, but we are here to work with the government so that we want the government to be recognized. Jammeh to Justice campaign any day, anytime. We knock the doors to make our contributions towards justice in terms of legal advice, in terms of anything that victim sees, it can bring satisfaction to them. So today, all the victims in Ghana, on behalf of Jammeh to Justice campaign in Ghana, we are here to say work done by TRC and also His Excellency the President Adama Barrow, but our eye is widely open. Though some money has been mentioned, to make sure that that money will be sent to victims, the migrants who have suffered and lost their lives, and the survivors. But it's not enough. Surely everybody knows that it's not enough. But because we are not in the fight, we hope we can go back to the table and give something meaningful that can be satisfied to the migrants and their families, not only them, but the whole Southern Sahara, for everyone to see that, yes, people's life matter and people deserve to have access to justice. We are solidly behind the operation of our hybrid courts. But if we did not see the political will, if our leaders refuse to show that they mean what they have issued their signatures and what we call it white paper, we will advise ourselves and listen to our lawyers and have any, if there is anything else we can do, we will take another path. So we are here to give support to the victims in Gambia. We are here to tell every Gambian that we are one to fight for justice. The rights of the people is the life of the people. If you refuse to give me justice, there is no way you can tell me you will develop my life. So I'm here on behalf of Jammeh to Justice campaign. We want to tell the government that we want to see implementation of the recommendation of TRC. We don't want to see it has been kept for long. We had a lot of stories from our leaders. If you are lying to people, don't think that people don't know that you are lying. Maybe they don't have power to respond to you, what lies you are telling them. But if they have power, you see that they know that you are lying. So we want to see from now the implementation of the white paper and also the cooperation between Jammeh to Justice campaign and the government in terms of legal advice, in terms of fighting for justice, so that at the end of the day, everybody will say, yes, the president is indeed a great servant and he has delivered justice for people. So I think we don't have much to say, and the short I say, I think is much. Justice for everyone. Jammeh to Justice. Thank you very much.
It's really a privilege to be on the platform with some real heroes, people like Fatou Jatta, who told her story. Martin Cherry is for me a true hero, who jumped out of a truck as everyone else on that truck of migrants was being killed, who ran into the forest, and who didn't just survive, who then went around from village to village in Ghana to find the other survivors, the families of those who died, and created the campaign. Fatoumata Sandeng, who's turned the killing of her father into a quest for justice. I have to say, as a foreigner, it is continually impressive to be here in the Gambia with victims, survivors like them, but also the transitional justice process has been in many ways such a model. I have witnessed many truth commissions, but the one here was perhaps the most powerful, the most transparent, the most impactful. And the Truth Commission, as you know, has recommended that Yaya, Jammeh, and some 69 other people be prosecuted for the alleged crimes that were committed here. And the question then is, how can those prosecutions be carried out? The TRRC briefly looked at the different options. It rejected the possibility of a purely domestic process. It said that the laws, the legal framework in the Gambia was not adequate, in addition to the capacity issues, and in addition, as they said, to the fact that we all believe that it would be destabilizing to bring the former president back, to detain him in the Gambia, to prosecute him in the Gambia. And the TRRC suggested an internationalized tribunal to prosecute the perpetrators. In its white paper, the government was very brief, and as the press release said, did not give a lot of detail as to what it intends to do. There is one paragraph on the government's plans for prosecution. And I will read that paragraph because in 3 sentences it sets out that the government intends to create a special judicial framework within our domestic court system for the prosecution of perpetrators. Legal changes will be effected to give it jurisdiction over the offense of torture as well as international crimes. The court shall be located within the Gambia with the option of holding sittings in other countries. Now, the problem is that all of those conditions cannot be met. A domestic court cannot have jurisdiction over crimes that are not yet in the Gambian code. So if laws, as they should be, are adopted in the Gambia to criminalize torture, to criminalize crimes against humanity, a domestic court cannot have retroactive jurisdiction over those crimes. There is, in fact, a decision by the ECOWAS Court of Justice in the Hissan Habre case, a bizarre decision, but a decision nonetheless, that says that in order to prosecute crimes retroactively, there needs to be an internationalized tribunal. That one paragraph also talks about a court sitting in the Gambia or sitting elsewhere, which we all believe is the correct approach. But that also cannot be done with the domestic court. Courts in the Gambia can only sit in the Gambia. For the last 2-3 years, and I wish that my brother Salyu Tal was here, the head of the Bar Association, but the Bar Association, together with IHRDA, the International Commission of Jurists, and others, have conducted a series of meetings that proposed that a hybrid court, a hybrid international national court, be created together with, anchored on a treaty with ECOWAS. Why a hybrid court? First of all, to deal with the retroactivity question. Second, to generally introduce international criminal law principles, not just crimes like crimes against humanity, but also principles like the principle of command responsibility. As we have seen and as we have heard, Jammeh is alleged to have committed a number of crimes personally, but in many other instances, he's alleged to have given orders. It may be difficult to prove those orders, but international law provides that somebody is responsible if their subordinates commit crimes and they do nothing to prevent, stop, or punish those crimes. Very important, an internationalized court would be necessary in order to sit in another country. So if the custody of the former president was obtained, he could be detained and prosecuted in another country that's a member of the hybrid court system. And perhaps most importantly for the people sitting up here on the panel, a hybrid court could allow victim participation in trials. In the Gambian system, as in many common law systems, victims have no right of participation in criminal trials. And Fatoumata has seen that herself in the NIA 9 case, which is partly about the torturing to death of her father, where she learns about what's going on in court from the newspapers. In an international system, or in victims have a right, can have different rights of participation, including the right to present a case, the right to have their lawyers appear. And that totally changes the nature of the prosecution when victims not only can appear, but can also help determine the outlines of the case. and the contours of the prosecution. Why ECOWAS? Partly because, of course, because of ECOWAS's role in the Gambia, but also, as we know, there are many other citizens, many other countries' citizens of ECOWAS who have been killed here in the Gambia. A court that includes Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, the other countries who lost citizens here in the Gambia, is not only would seem to be natural and normal, it would give that court a much greater power, a much greater reach, so that when the time comes to request that Yaya Jammeh be transferred or extradited from Equatorial Guinea, that request would not just come from the Gambia. It would come from the sub-region. It would come from ECOWAS. It would come from Ghana. It would come from Nigeria. It would come from Senegal. And that would certainly make it much more difficult for the president of Equatorial Guinea to refuse. Within the hybrid court models, there are many possibilities. There was a hybrid court in Senegal, which prosecuted Hissène Habré. There was a hybrid court in Sierra Leone, which prosecuted Charles Taylor and many others. There are a range of options that we won't go into here. But I believe, and I think we all believe, that if the countries of the region come together to request that in the name of African justice, the former president be given a fair trial, that could happen. And so I stand with my brothers and sisters here today to call on the government to take steps to start establishing that kind of internationalized hybrid tribunal. Thank you.
We are not thinking about going after Jammeh, and then after a month or two or a few hearings, we say there is no basis. This is tricky, and we need the best approaches so that we can bring Jammeh and his accomplices to justice, because we are not letting him slip. So the option is to be, taken up by the Gambia government and we, the victims and survivors. Organizations, Gambian, international, are ready to make sure that that happens. Next, we're supposed to have Kehinde. If he is ready, I think Kehinde is online. We always talk about the migrants from Ghana, but we just want to say that on that boat, it was not only Ghanaians who were on it. We had victims from Nigeria, we had Togo, we have other African countries, and we have Kehinde from Nigeria, who's just going to give us an account or a voice of a Nigerian victim for inclusiveness. So Kehinde, if you can hear us, you're welcome, and thank you.
Well, thank you very much, I can hear you. Yeah, my name is Kehinde Nagame, and
in many ways very similar, is the protagonism of the victims. It was very interesting. After Hissène Habré was convicted, we actually, after General Pinochet of Chile was arrested in London and held in detention, and then went back to Chile and had cases mounted against him in Chile, the Chadian victims came to us and said, we want to do what they did. And after Hissène Habré was convicted, Gambian victims said, we want to do what they did. And we had a meeting here, actually, that Fatoumata and several other people here attended, between the Chadian victims and the Gambian victims. Baba Haidara, who's here, was there. And what really impresses me here is how the victims have taken the lead in the campaign. I think we can compare dictators and say who's better and who's worse, and I have to say that in many respects they're very dissimilar. But that's one similarity. Another similarity is the internationalization of the campaign. I was just in Germany with several with Fatoumata Nana Joe, and at the Bailo trial, there are trials going on, or there are Jammeh's alleged henchmen in detention in Switzerland, in the United States, in Germany. We see, in the Habre trial, it was the African Union, actually. It was a joint court between Senegal and the African Union, a hybrid court that ultimately prosecuted Hissène Habré. And so I think that the similarity here, and what's important, I think, for Gambians to see is that you are not alone. Just as the world admired the TRRC and the international and the transitional justice process, there is a strong regional and international accompaniment now to the quest for justice.
You asked a question about the people who were saying prosecuting Jammeh in Gambia.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a Gambian, but I understand. I think that everyone I've spoken to believes, and I think that's true of almost all victims, of diplomats, of government officials, that it would be disruptive to have Yaya Jammeh detained in the Gambia and prosecuted in the Gambia. And that's one of the main reasons why it's important to create an internationalized court, which would allow Yaya, I mean, first of all, as I said before, it would strengthen the demand that Yaya Jammeh be handed into custody. It would be a demand coming from an African justice system that would be very hard for Equatorial Guinea to reject. But also it would allow potentially for the detention and the prosecution, and the Truth Commission said, the TRRC said that as well, in some other country. That could be Sierra Leone, it could be Ghana, it could be, as long as there's a fair trial, and as long as the trial is accessible to the Gambian people. I think one of the most important lessons from the Habré trial is how important, that trial was televised. It was televised back to Chad. People in Chad could follow each day as their former leader, as their former dictator was being prosecuted. And what was very interesting to me was that he wasn't being prosecuted because the Chad's current dictator wanted him to be prosecuted. He was being prosecuted because crazy people like Suleiman Gengeng, who took an oath from his prison cell that if he got out he would fight for justice, fought for justice the way these people are fighting for justice. And I think that a court in which victims have participation, in which the hearings are televised, I mean, just as the TRRC was televised and people watched it, imagine what it would look like for a real court to be prosecuting Yaya Jammeh. And imagine how that could impact, and I think in a very positive way, the Gambians.
Thank you. Yes. And before you ask that question, I just want to acknowledge some of the organizations, also members of the Jammeh Justice. We work hard to make sure that it happens, because just words don't do it. So yes, we really are grateful, as I read on my speech, that the government has set up TRRC, also a white paper recently with everything that's in it, but it is not 100% satisfactory. And we as victims, as victim-led organizations, as Jammeh to Justice, are looking into that to make sure that we flag the points that we think are really not, speaking to what we expected, or how, let's say, not just wordings, but action-oriented, these, implementations on the white paper should be, which they are not. So like you said, the relationship between the government and victims, everyone knows me, I don't sugarcoat, honestly, and I would say that it's been a big disappointment to victims that they are not recognized or respected by the government, which promised a lot to them. Victims would have expected a lot more respect, a lot more recognition, but we don't have that. What we do is to stand up and fight for justice, stand up to be recognized and respected as victims, because we were not given that duly. So recently we have seen the government taking steps to make sure that they mend that relationship with victim-led organizations, which is not enough. I personally told them, thank you for trying to earn our trust, but I don't trust you 100%. So let's work towards making that better, so that we respect and trust each other again, because we did not, and as of now do not trust you. So what we do is we are building on that trust and holding them accountable. So the government being kind to us does not mean we have to sit and drink tea and coffee all the time. We are standing to make sure that Jammeh is being brought to justice, and we will hold the government accountable for that, making sure we push for our voices to be heard, victims be respected and seen, not as victims, but survivors and people who have the right to have the justice that they demand. Thank you. Who wants to answer that question, making sure we include everyone? Please raise your hand in a minute.
Stage of the game, the government didn't give more detail, that it hadn't really prepared for this moment with a concrete plan. But that said, it's important that it be done right, particularly if a court is going to be set up. Perhaps for the lower level people, cases perhaps could even start right away before Gambian courts. But for upper level people, it's going to be necessary to create a framework, and that's why that has to start right away.
Thank you. Doesn't seem we have anyone online to answer that.
Our questions are not yet available. So every day we keep on mounting pressure. Every day we keep on asking questions. Yes, we know that a road to justice in this part of the world is not easy. You need to knock hard, because we are all witness to that. So we are already in one box in Ghana. We have Jammeh to Justice campaign. We write a letter to many individuals, and the Parliament of Ghana is, I don't know, today or tomorrow, they are meeting our partners in Ghana, J2J campaign, government, the Parliament Department of Foreign Affairs. They are inviting, they have invited J2J to give their understanding so far as the white paper and the investigation they conducted is concerned. So we have already write a letter to the Foreign Affairs, which the response is not yet out. But for the side of the government, in fact, we have write several letters, and recommendations has been presented. No answer has been received. So what we are doing right now is that we are going to make sure to mount pressure. It's not about fighting, but it's about working with them, because they have sworn an oath in our presence that they are going to protect us and give us right to life and protect us in every angle. So it's their duty to give us justice. And if they fail, we will make them know that they have failed, not by force or by guns, but by law that they have sworn to. So people deserve to have access to justice, and we are on course.
Thank you. Martin, I am putting Aisha on the spot to read.
The time we heard that the white paper is out and the government is seriously on the recommendations of TRC, we thought maybe this one will be different because we had a lot of white papers in Ghana, which has now turned to be a black papers. So the confidence in Ghana about white paper is no more. But since it's happened in Gambia here, it's first time. So people show appreciation to the government about issuing the white paper and accepting the recommendations. But though not all the recommendations are satisfied to the people, but the steps show that there is a room for negotiation and improvement. And you know, the Victims Association J2J in Ghana and here are not ready. It's not there to fight with the government, but to work with the government. So in terms of a legal advice and opinions, you know, if you say you are working for me, you should listen to me. So that if you say you want to give me justice, you should listen to me and see the kind of justice and the justice I want. So we are here to work with the government. Since we have seen a lot of white papers who have turned to black papers, we are closely opening our eye about how the hybrid court is going to establish immediately, soon as possible. I know the process is not by tomorrow, but by, you know, attending and negotiation, talking to people who make victims have confidence that, okay, there is a process towards the justice. So we are closely opening our eye, watching what the president is doing, the Gambian government is doing towards preparation of hybrid court and also open doors for legal advice and also our opinions in terms of giving justice. But one thing we in Ghana seriously want to see is that there will be a committee for forensics that the remains must be brought to Ghana for the victim barrier. That must to be established as soon as possible, because as is delays, you know, as delays, some evidence may be getting handed, and we will find difficult to get that evidence. So the committee of forensics must be established as soon as possible, so that we can have the remains and give them the victim barrier. And also we know that the compensation that's recommended by TRC is nothing to write home about it. It's just, but it's a sign of justice. So we know that when we go to table, there will be satisfaction in terms of compensation. That's what we are waiting for. Us right now, we want to see the action, we want to see the implementation, we want to see the starting of thinking about establishment the hybrid court. That will make us have confidence that indeed this president in Gambia, Adama Barrow, is not a leader but a servant to the people.
You've made mention of the hybrid courts, which we know that it's not an easy task, because we've seen the minister highlighting some of the challenges that they are having, and also working with other countries, because Jammeh probably will not be tried in the Gambia due to security issues and stuff. How are you saying the process of Jammeh's J2J to justice being executed?
You know, one thing we know that establishing hybrid court is not easy, but it was a recommendation that given by a respected institution, and the government has issued a white paper. So for the sake of respect and the trust that we have our leaders, let's give them benefit of the doubt. That is not the only option for the victims, but you are saying you are going to do that. So we want to see how you are going to do, and we want to make sure that you are doing it.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonic's Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.